Hey, what's up, guys? This is Martin here. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about focusing on your strengths and your gifts. Since we live in this society right now, or nowadays, where everyone is complaining about something, we have these little crybabies on the internet who want to whine and complain about everything as to why life is not going their way. They have every excuse under their belt. They have, they're very spiteful, bitter, and jealous of other people's successes. And they're like, things will never go my way, so I'm gonna hate on other people. And obviously this mindset is heavily propagated by society, the social media world, especially the victimhood mentality, which I've already made a video about this earlier. And guys, I'm gonna tell you this. Stop focusing on other people's lives. Stop focusing on their story. Focus on your own life and start writing your own story. This is so important. Every single one of you guys, every single one of you who's watching this has a strength or a gift that nobody else has. You're unique. And that's what you got to focus on. Stop looking for excuses. Stop whining and being this little bitch who says, oh, things are not going my way. It's too hard for me. I don't have any plans. I've tried everything already. Guys, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. 7 years ago, well, it's going to be 7 years this September, I started working out. I used to be really scrawny. I was very thin. I had no strength, no muscle. And I used to be bullied in school a lot. Until one day I decided to change it all. Well, I actually started working out when I was 16 for the very first time. But I wasn't consistent. I was maybe consistent for like the very first year, the first year and a half. But then I stopped for like a year. And then I got back at it again. And since then, I've been consistent with my fitness. And it's been a long journey, okay? It's been a long journey, but I never backed down from the work. I always thought that I wasn't gifted when it came to the muscle department, because I was really scrawny, and I'm tall. I'm almost 6'5". I'm actually 195 centimeters, which is basically 6'5". Okay. And do you know how hard it is to put on muscle when you're that tall? It is really difficult, and it takes years. It takes a long time. But yesterday I had this one incident where this one older gentleman came up to me. We started talking, and when I first looked at him, I was like, okay, he's an older guy. He's probably around my dad's age. But then he told me his age, and he told me, man, I'm going to be 63 this year, in December. And I was like, wow. I was genuinely impressed. And I was like, dude, you look fantastic for your age. And he was swole, okay? But his body was not unreachable in the sense of, in the natural sense, in the natty way. You could see that it was reachable with good genetics. And he told me, man, he's like, yeah, I've been working out for the past 30 years. So I was like, man, you're a veteran. You're a pro. And he was like, yeah, I am a motherfucking pro. And he complimented me back. Since me personally, I rarely get compliments from people, if ever. And he was like, man, I wish I had your height. You're wide, you're big, you have these bulky arms, you have thick arms, you have the shoulders, you have the chest, you have the nice back, you're swole, dude, you're fit. And he was like, how old are you? I'm 24. I was like, oh man, if I was 24 again, I would be at the top of the world. Those are his exact words. But man, we had a really deep and interesting conversation. And it never ceases to amaze me how total strangers can show more appreciation and love to you than your family members and your relatives and people from your closest circle, right? It's crazy. I also had this one thing that happened to me a year ago. It was in December 2023. It was about a week or a week and a half before New Year's. There's this one neighbor who lives near our street. He invited me to dinner or supper, basically, because I met her at the store. I want to buy some pizza, and because I was working out really hard that day, and I wanted to eat a bigger meal. I wanted to have a cheap meal, and she was like, "Man, we're having supper, and we have all this food, we have all this fish. You can come on with me." And I was like, "No, I'm gonna go home." But she was really persistent with it, and I was like, finally I surrendered. I was like, yeah, okay, fine. And that evening ended up being one of my best ever experiences, because I've never really, and in the 24 years of my own life, I've never felt so loved and welcomed by total strangers. Like, they were literally total strangers. She was just like, "Oh, I mean, I know your mother and your grandma, so you're gonna come to me." I was like, "Okay." She was like, "She's our neighbor." But we ended up having a great conversation, and the guy, her partner, is actually an entrepreneur. He owns a pretty big credit repair company, and we made that connection. So Kuba, if you're watching this, thank you. But it always amazed me how total strangers and people you don't know can support you more than your own family members. I've never received any compliments and really like appreciation for my hard work from my closest circle. Never. It's crazy, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this experience. And this one guy yesterday, we were talking about this exact topic, and I asked him, "Have you received any compliments or appreciation for your hard work?" And he was like, "No," because they're jealous, they're spiteful, and they're just bitter about life. They're lazy. They don't want to do everything with their lives. I was like, hell yeah. So, like, I'm a prime example of hard work beats talent. Okay, the only thing I might have is I have height, okay? But that's genetic. I'm tall, okay? That's really my only strength. And I'm a little handsome too. But other than that, I had to work for everything. Even my English. I'm not a native English speaker. I'm actually Polish, half Polish, half Norwegian. But I taught myself how to speak English in a good way. Okay? It's all learnable. You don't know if you have talent unless you do it for a long period of time. You really grind in and focus on the work. And once you've been doing that for a long period of time, for years usually, now you can determine if you're actually good at it or not. So no, I'm a prime example that hard work beats talent. I don't believe in talent personally. I think this whole thing with talent, that's a myth. It doesn't exist. I believe that this is a social construct that was made by the people who run the world to make you give up, to make you believe that you're not worthy enough of success. You have the motherfucking talent already. You have the gifts. And you just gotta make sure that you work on them every single day. Okay? So guys, again, work on your gifts. And it doesn't matter what it is. I'm sure some of you guys are good at something. Even if it's fitness, you're athletic, maybe you want to be a football player, maybe you want to be a soccer player, a basketball player, a volleyball player, maybe you want to be a marathon runner. It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you want to be a lawyer, maybe you want to be a dentist, maybe you want to be an engineer, maybe you want to be an airline pilot. Maybe you want to, I don't know, become an actor, become an A-list celebrity, like Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio. Or maybe you want to be a supermodel, like, let's say, I don't know, Kendall Jenner, for instance, or Irina Shayk. It's all in your hands, and you have a gift that you might not even be aware of, because nobody has told you that. So I know at this point, because of who I am and how I was able to transform myself, I can sell this right now. That is my skill. I can teach other people how to be fit and become muscular. And we can create a community out of it. I can sell programs and courses on mindset and fitness, because I'm a prime example of this. I'm living what I'm talking to you guys about. For the past 6 months, well, it's been 8 months now, I've been walking basically every single day. I only missed 2 or 3 days, and I can remember all of them, of why I missed, as to why I missed them. And I can remember all 3 scenarios. The first time I missed was when my mom came to me to Poland, because she lives in Norway, and I wanted to be with her. I wanted to fully support her because she was going through a really hard time mentally and physically. The second time I missed was when I had to move into my new apartment, and the third time was when I actually got kicked out of my own apartment, which happened about a week and a half ago. So I was basically homeless for like a couple hours. Those are all the only 3 times when I actually missed. And I can tell you about the exact story to each day. Okay? It was actually a valid excuse as to why not to do the work. So, but that's why we never miss. We do the work every single day. And that's how we gotta approach life. And like I told you, every single one of you has a gift. And work on that gift. Like, really figure out what your strengths are. Like, sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and start writing for 30 minutes to 60 minutes. And be in the present moment. And really focus on your strengths. And really think, because thinking is hard. Okay? But yeah, thinking is the hardest thing there is. But swimming with the stream, following the crowd, trying to fit in and be like everybody else, that's the easiest thing in the world. That's why everybody's doing it. And that's why their life looks the way it looks. So don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to make proactive choices. And guys, a lot of you are not even aware of this. You're so lucky and gifted at the same time. Like, we live in such amazing times right now. It has never been easier to make things happen. The ivory towers, so to speak, have been removed. You no longer need permission to be great from these, huge corporations. And a lot of you are watching this video from a $1,000 phone, a $1,000 iPhone, or you're watching this from a $2,000 MacBook Pro. So let's get real here about how hard life really is. Okay, your dad drives a Mercedes-Benz. You guys have a Tesla. You live in a comfy home. You have clean water. You have internet connection. Guys, you're so lucky, and you don't even know it. There are people out here who would do anything to trade places with you. I'm gonna end the video here because I'm getting a little warm right now from the sun. My head is getting a little dizzy. Well, thank you guys for watching, and I wish you a beautiful day. Ciao. Arrivederci.